food and products we use. Come to think of it, maybe that's a good thing. You see, when you're a company who has to make products for millions or even billions of customers, sometimes adding strange and unconventional ingredients is a way to cut costs or save time. Ahead, we'll show you some food and clothing items that are made from some rather interesting things. We'll also dispel one massive myth involving a rather popular consumer product. It all might make you second-guess your purchase the next time you're out shopping. Of course, what would a richest video be without a quiz? Stay tuned for our upcoming question, and we'll give you the answer at the end. For now, put down that sandwich and stop drinking that pop, because you might just see some rather gross stuff ahead. Just be sure to hit that subscribe button first. We promise it contains no additives or unsettling ingredients that will do you any harm. Hot dogs. They say that ignorance is bliss. We think this really is the case for millions of people who love to eat hot dogs. Okay, so deep down inside, we know that these delicious little guys aren't good for us. They're loaded with preservatives and chemicals, which shouldn't really be put in the human body. But they taste so good, and no holiday or summer barbecue is complete without them, right? Well, you may change your tune when you find out that no hot dog is complete without animal intestines. Yup, those shiny and elastic casings have to come from somewhere. Unfortunately, it doesn't end with intestines either. The joke with hot dogs has always been that they were made from the leftovers of the animals, from the lips to the butts. Unfortunately, they left out the snouts in that description. That's right, a good chunk of that delicious Frankenfurter is actually made up of pig snouts. Don't think you can get away from those little pink noses by switching to all beef hot dogs either. You're likely just swapping out the noses of one animal for another in this instance. Yum. Red foods. Have you ever ordered a fancy drink or milkshake that is red or pink in color? Probably. You see, from that Starbucks drink to the cherry ice cream you just picked up at the grocery store, the color comes from a variety of dyes, which can be either both man-made or natural. Why the quotes around the word natural? Well, a few years ago, there was a big backlash against food dyes because they were causing kids to have allergic reactions or go bonkers with hyperactivity. Companies responded by cutting back on the synthetic dyes and relabeling others as natural. Now, before you start feeling all warm and fuzzy thinking your food dye is coming from a plant or a bean, think again. In the case of red foods, one of the popular sources of red dye is actually a bug. Ever seen natural red 4, carmine, or cochineal extract in that list of ingredients? Those terms refer to the dye extract from the cochineal bug. Harvested in Peru in the Canary Islands, the cochineals are dried, crushed, and soaked in a mixture that gives us this bright red color for our foods. Fun fact, 1 pound of red dye requires 70,000 bugs to produce. Potato chips. When you want something that tastes delicious and has that appealing crunch factor, you likely reach for a bag of potato chips. In fact, what better to go with your pig snout hot dog than a heaping pile of golden, deep-fried crisps? Okay, so we know that you likely understand that potato chips aren't the healthiest food to eat. But aside from being high in carbs and fat, there isn't really much else that's bad in them, right? Unfortunately, many brands of chips contain a chemical which may just make you think twice the next time you visit the supermarket. Sodium bisulfite is a compound commonly found in antifungal products and facial cleansers. It's also found in potato chips. It turns out this additive is pretty good at preventing bacteria growth and has the added benefit of stopping those potato chips from discoloring. Don't worry though, the FDA says it's safe to eat, in very small amounts. That said, it is a bit concerning that they also prohibit its use with meat or any raw vegetables and fruits. Officially, they say it's because of the way it can react with those goods, which isn't really reassuring to us at all. Canada Goose. Let's switch gears for just a minute to show you a non-food product that a lot of people have turned off of because of how it's made. When the weather gets a bit chilly or that blizzard decides to move in, then it's time to put on that warm winter jacket. The big trend in winter wear over the last several years has definitely been the Canada Goose jacket. You see them everywhere, and the who's who of Hollywood have even jumped on the bandwagon of this immensely popular company. However, if you're strongly into issues related to ethical animal treatment and rights, then you may want to stay away from this product once you see what goes into it. It turns out that fuzzy liner around the hood is actually coyote fur. Canada Goose has publicly stated that the fur is collected humanely from trapped animals. Animal rights groups like PETA argue that the coyotes are trapped and suffer greatly before being put down by a gunshot to the head. While the decision regarding fur is totally up to you, we here at The Richest are just happy these coats are 100% pig snout free. Processed bread and pies. We all know that anything labeled as processed is not good for you. That's why many of us work extra hard to get those natural and organic items at the store. Sometimes, however, we either get the urge to buy that processed item or we simply can't avoid buying it. From the bread at the grocery store to those deep-fried apple and cherry pies at our favorite fast food joint, there's some stuff in there that's a bit worrying. Take L-cysteine as a perfect example. If it sounds like something Mom never used in her baking, that's because she didn't. L-cysteine is known as a dough conditioner. Its purpose is to soften commercial dough so machines can better manipulate it into things like cookies, bread, and pies. While that doesn't sound too bad at first, one major source of L-cysteine is actually human hair. Okay, once you've cleaned the bread chunks off your phone screen or keyboard, let us explain. In places like China, the major source of this ingredient comes from hair sold by women. In North America, things are a bit less disturbing as L-cysteine is usually either synthetic or derived from the feathers of ducks. Bon appetit! It's quiz time, and we figured we'd keep it food-related. Everyone loves chocolate, so that's what our quiz will be about. Do you know how much chocolate Americans buy in the lead-up to Halloween? Hint, you'll need a pretty big trick-or-treat bag to hold it all. Think about it a little while we show you 5 more unsettling ingredients found in popular products. Red Bull. Alright, so we just spent the last few minutes ruining some of your favorite foods and products. Let's take a very brief break from that to actually put a more positive spin on a different product. When it comes to energy drinks, you don't get much bigger than, or as universally known as, Red Bull. Their distinct gray and blue cans and logo can be found pretty much everywhere. If you follow the news, then you know there were, at one time, major concerns over the amount of caffeine in these drinks. That was later supplemented with a rumor that Red Bull's secret energy-boosting ingredient came from bull semen. Some people saw one of the ingredients was taurine, whose Latin root means bull. They then put this information together with the fact that Red Bull gives you energy and concluded that the drink's source of power came from bull semen. Just don't be too quick to toss the rest of that Red Bull. You see, the taurine in Red Bull is synthetic and not taken from any animal. It's especially not taken from any Indian bison, which is the animal actually displayed on every Red Bull product. Mac and cheese. It's creamy, delicious, and probably one of the easiest things to make on the planet. If you ever lived on your own or headed off to college, there's a very good chance more than a few boxes of this stuff sustained you through the week. Of course, we're talking about macaroni and cheese. This product, made famous by companies like Kraft, has faced growing criticism over the years, and in large part, that's down to food coloring. Look at the ingredients and you'll likely see tartrazine and sunset yellow as ingredients. You may better know these dyes by the names Yellow 5 and Yellow 6. They're actually derived from coal tar and petroleum, which doesn't sound very tasty at all. In fact, there's been a lot of debate about these two yellow dyes, and several nations around the world have even banned their use in food. Various claims and studies have shown that Yellow 5 and 6 might just be linked to some nasty side effects. These include hypersensitivity, food allergies, and ADHD-like symptoms in children. As an added bonus, these dyes are also carcinogenic, which shouldn't surprise anyone given they come from coal and oil. Ground beef. It's used in everything from hamburger patties to tacos. Where would most of us be without ground beef? You wouldn't have those awesome homemade hamburgers in the summer, and that hamburger helper wouldn't have anything to help. For meat eaters, there's not much better than sinking your teeth into a delicious meal with ground beef. You can really taste beefy goodness, highlighted by the added pink slime. Oh yeah, that's right. It turns out that a lot of manufacturers add a little something special to their ground beef before shipping it out to the consumer. You see, while producing ground beef, there's a lot of leftover fat that still has tiny bits of meat attached. To get this, manufacturers melt down the fat and run it all through a centrifuge. The resulting pink slime is treated with ammonia and then added to the ground beef to, beef things up a bit. When this story broke a few years ago, companies like McDonald's, Wegman, Wendy's, and Safeway stated they no longer use beef with pink slime. As far as the other restaurants and stores go, you'll probably have to ask for yourself to find out. Gummy bears! By this point, you're probably thinking, oh no, what are they going to say about my beloved gummy bears? Relax, there are probably no pig snouts in these tasty little guys. We say probably because we really can't be 100% sure. Gummy bears, and indeed many gummy treats, originated in Germany in the 1920s. Since then, a number of other companies across the world have entered the market and make everything from regular bears to the sour variety. They're chewy, colorful, and fun to eat. They're also something many of us associate with our childhood. However, if that package has gelatin as an ingredient, then we can be sure something with a face went into that candy. The gelatin that most gummy manufacturers use relies on the collagen that comes from the skin, bone, and connective tissue found in animals. Since we've already had hot dogs taken from us, we'll just hope there isn't any collagen in snouts. However, if it makes you feel any better, we do know that no bears are involved in the making of this treat. Nearly everything. We weren't really sure how to end this one off, so let's do it with a bang. If you like ice cream, pudding, chewing gum, baked goods, alcoholic beverages, candy, or anything with vanilla or raspberry flavor, then listen up. A close look at the label on most associated products will often include something about natural flavors. You probably think you're home free because anything natural is alright to eat. In this case, natural flavors is code for an additive called castoreum. Want to know where it comes from? Well, those of you with any foreign language expertise will know castor means beaver. In this case, castoreum is a secretion that comes from glands located near the anus of a beaver. In nature, this is used to mark territory. In your supermarket, it's used to flavor food. You can't make this stuff up, but you can apparently get FDA approval to add it to pretty much everything people love to eat. If you're grossed out by this, then the only reliable way to avoid beaver gland juice in your food is to stay away from processed foods and eat things that have real flavoring. Alright, so have you settled on an answer to how much chocolate Americans buy when it comes to Halloween? Time is running out. Okay, the final answer is 90 million pounds. That's 45,000 tons of chocolate. You'll need 292 Boeing 747 jumbo jets to carry all that chocolate. For now, that's the end of our video. However, there's no need to worry because we have a bunch of other amazing and informative videos about food just waiting for you at The Richest. While you're here, why not leave a comment about which food you love to eat, even though you know it is something really bad or gross in it. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you stay up to date on all of our new and interesting videos. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye!